Hello, everyone. I've had a good handful of questions about the rough draft, so I just wanted to make a quick short video, show you what you need to know, and hopefully address any of your questions. So if you go to the content section, we're in week 5, and you look down here and it tells you about the rough draft. So that's what these other files are. I'll use in just a minute. There's the project template, and there is the data set. And for the rough draft, instead of it being like a rough draft of the whole thing, the idea is we're just getting started. So we want you to complete steps 1 through 3. I want you to complete steps 1 through 3 so that I can see that you're on the right track and that you'll be able to complete the project successfully, so I can correct any errors ahead of time so you don't get all the way to the end and then I'm like, well, this is what this meant, or, we started off incorrectly. So the first thing that would be good to look at would be to take a look at the project template. So you're going to be doing steps 1 through 3, which you should already have the skills to do. And I'll read through this in just a minute. But step 1 is for you to choose a data set. And that is something I've had questions about as well. So this right here is one data set. So you have all these different movies with a score and a Metacritic. So you're going to be plotting, this is like your X and this is your Y. X, Y, X, Y. This is one's data set. And if you get onto the bottom, I know lots of people don't use tabs, but us nerdy math people, we use them all the time. Then you have a baseball pitching data set with their ERA versus their WHIP. I'm going to have to look that up, walks plus hits per inning. I love baseball, but I didn't know that term. And then you're going to plot those data sets, X, Y, X, Y. Make sure you line them up correctly, not my weird clicking. And then down here you have SAT scores, your math versus your critical reading, to see if wouldn't it be interesting to see if someone who does well on math doesn't do well on reading, or vice versa, or if some people just usually do well on both or don't do well on both. And then the last one is calories versus carbs. If there are more calories, are there more carbs? So you're going to be plotting these data sets and analyzing this data. But those are the data sets. I wanted to just make sure that was clear. You're going to choose one of those, whichever interests you the most. And then you're going to come back here. So step 1 is to choose your data set. So you are going to start, someone asked me, is this paragraph? You're going to have a combination. You're going to have graphs in here. You're going to have paragraphs. It'll be easier in my opinion, if you're like, here's step 1, the introduction. Please note, this is not an English class. I'm not going to be like, okay, how did you write this? The introduction is you're going to be like, hey, I chose this data set. I mean, of course, don't use the word hey. It is still for a class. I chose this data set because I'm really interested in baseball. I think baseball is really fun, and I think there should be a correlation between da-da-da-da-da. So why did you chose it? What do you find interesting about the variables? And what is going to be a benefit of analyzing it? Do you want to analyze to see a correlation between, is there a correlation between your math and reading? Is there a correlation between the Rotten Tomatoes score and the Metacritic score? I mean, so you can see if there's a difference. I'm not actually sure what a Metacritic score is, so make sure you look that up if you're interested in that one. I'll be interested to learn. And then, so you're going to write this little paragraph, this little introductory paragraph. And then number 2, you're going to have a screenshot. Obviously, I'm just looking for your screenshot in there that to be legible, that you've used from Desmos. And as I've seen from your test, and your other work, you guys have got Desmos down, so I'm not worried about that. And then you're going to make sure you understand what the X is and the Y. Remember I said this is the X column, this is the Y column? State what they mean. Because if we just say, well, our X is this and our Y is that, we need to know what they stand for. So you're just going to go through and answer all of these questions. Do it in the most simplest. I don't need you to write a 10-page paper here for me. Answer the questions thoroughly, succinctly, but make sure you do answer all of the questions, because, the easiest way for you to lose points is to skip part of this. Then you're going to get down here, you're going to do a modeling. So in order to do a linear modeling, you only know how to do this with 2 points. You know how to find the equation of a line with 2 points. So my recommendation is when you're looking at your scatter plot, choose the 2 points that you think would give you a pretty decent line. Because if you look at this, you could choose 2 different points and get a very different equation. So try to find 2 that you think would be a pretty good line. Make sure you identify the slope. Make sure you identify the intercepts. And tell me what they mean. What does the slope in this case mean? What does the x-intercept mean? And that's why going back up here and defining your variables is really helpful, because it will help you with that later. But then you're just going to go through steps 1 through 3. Week 7, we will learn about best fit lines and how to do all of that. So you my recommendation is to make sure steps 1 through 3 are really good. Get this feedback. I'll give you feedback on it, and then you can fix it up and make sure you are set so that when it comes to week 7, you can do steps 4 through 6 and you'll be set and good to go. If you do have more questions, please let me know. Hopefully that was helpful, even though it was brief. Hopefully you're all having a great week, and I am enjoying seeing your work on the discussion board. Make sure you watch all those signs very carefully. I will comment if there's an issue, so make sure you go back and check, because I always welcome you to go back and fix things up so you can get full credit. I think discussion boards are a place to learn, and I want you to get full credit, so I'm going to give you a heads up. Say, hey, go double check that part, and then repost it. If you don't repost it, then I have to grade what you gave me. So make sure you go back and repost or add comments to it and fix it however is easiest for you so that I can give you full points. And if you have any questions on anything, I think that's everything. Have a great week and enjoying this nice warm weather.